Congressman Nehls from the great state of Texas for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Today I'm going to use my time to discuss some priorities I've been working on in the 117th and now the 118th Congress, and I think they're common sense initiatives that will help the taxpayer. As both Chairman Graves and Ranking Member Larson often reiterate, this committee is a workhorse committee, and I'd like to point that both of my bills are bipartisan. I believe strongly that when taxpayer funds are spent, the primary beneficiaries should be American companies and American workers. And in the 117th Congress, I partnered with Congressman Garamendi and introduced the Domestic Preferences for Building America Act. We reintroduced the bill, and I believe it should pass. And specifically, the legislation would require that infrastructure projects valued at more than $100 million receiving federal financial assistance be built by domestic contractors and domestically controlled joint ventures. Our tax dollars should not go to foreign firms supported by non-market economies or countries watch-listed by the U.S. Trade Representative. The second piece of legislation I want to discuss is the Trucker Bathroom Access Act that I co-authored with Congresswoman Houlihan. And Mr. Pugh, could you tell us, what's it like for a trucker to try to find a place to simply use the bathroom when you're out on the road? What's that like?
Well, unfortunately, it can be a struggle, and I never thought we'd be sitting here in the House of the Congress of the greatest nation in the world talking about giving people the right to use the restroom when they're trying to do their job. But unfortunately, I guess that's where we've gotten in society thanks to COVID. This all came out of COVID as we saw so many places close their restroom and close their restroom access. Now, it happened at places before. It haven't happened to myself personally. But since COVID, so many places have never opened their facilities back up. Drivers, like we have talked about, they were allowed to work a certain amount of time. They have a certain amount of hours. So they are trying to get to where they need to be, get the products delivered to the shippers and the receivers. The least a shipper receiver could do is allow that person to use their facility that they have in place already when they get there, and it's not happening.
It's just not that simple, is it? Yeah. The organization Women in Trucking, they're very supportive of my legislation to ensure restroom access for truckers. Do you believe being denied access to a restroom is preventing women from starting careers in trucking?
I think yes, for sure. I mean, we all know that the operational challenges to use a restroom for a woman is more than a man. Right. So, of course, why would women not,
Is it making it more difficult for women to remain in jobs behind the wheel?
Yeah, I would for certainly say.
Mm-hmm. I just want to put on the record and say to all the lobbyists and the trade associations trying to sink this bill, because they're out there trying to sink this bill, first of all, I really don't care what you think on this issue. I really don't care. Just imagine if Congress opted to ban lobbyists from using bathrooms as you wait outside these committee rooms or offices. Imagine if you were told, hey, all the lobbyists, all you guys, go outside, find a tree. Hell, go find the fire hydrant. Go outside and relieve yourself because we're not going to let you do it in here. How long do you think that would last? I bet you they would be very, very frustrated. I think it's, what do we want to treat our truckers like cats and dogs? You got to take the dog outside to the backyard, this and that. Let's do it with women and men that are in the trucking industry. Shame on those lobbyists and those trade associations for trying to sink this bill. I believe it's the right thing to do. I will continue to fight like hell, Mr. Pugh, to pass these two important pieces of legislation. And with that, sir, I yield back.